BizNews Power Hour.
Welcome to the BizNews Power Hour, where we give you the rational perspective on business news that matters.
And it's the 22nd of September, this Wednesday. I'm Stuart Lohman, coming to you from the Johannesburg studio. With me, I've got Justin Rowe-Roberts and Nadia Swat. On the show today, Bronwyn Nielsen chats to Magnus Haystack. He touches on Bitcoin and everything else that's going on in the markets. He's not a big keen of the crypto, but he'll let you in on more of the other opportunities he sees, as well as the Evergrande story. We also chat to Outer's Liz McDade. She looks at the nuclear deal, and Outer's very concerned that there's a bit of secrecy around it, and there's not much information being given to the public. So she brings us up to speed on that front. She also looks at the generation licenses that were given to the car powerships, which is obviously also shrouded in a bit of uncertainty. Our partners at the Financial Times give us some insight on Uber, which looks like it will produce its first quarter of profits. Justin, I'm not sure if you follow Uber at all, but it's been around for a while, and this is the first time they're expecting to see green.
I don't follow too closely, Stu, but very interesting business model with a big runway. You got the food delivery side, you've obviously got the taxi industry side, and it's just one of those big growth companies where they put so much money in that profits haven't been able to generate just as a result of all the capex into the business. But now they're obviously bearing fruit, and it's good to see them going into profit. They are touted as one of the next big technology businesses to come out of this pandemic.
And you also chat to the CFO from Remgro in the show later, Neville Williamson.
Neville Williams, very interesting conversation. We chat mainly on the unlisted investments within the Remgro stable. Of course, we know about Distal, Mediclinic, RCL Foods, etc. We chat about CIVH and Vumatal and just their drive from traditional banking into the technology sectors.
Excellent. And my colleague in London, Linda van Tilburg, chats to architect Sumaya Valla, who's doing some good stuff in the city of London. Just to look at what's running on the .com, we've got a column from Dr. Tami Madzwai. We ran a piece from the Financial Times on the basic income grant, and he sort of basically says if we go this way, it's going to push the country into ICU. Yesterday, we chatted to Exemplar MD Jason McCormick, and that quotes piece is running very well on the site. And then Justin's interview with Francois Nokia has also been well read on biznews.com. Nads, I know we're back into full swing on YouTube. How are things that side?
We are properly back. So sort of similar themes. Justin's interview from yesterday with Francois Nokia is doing really well. Just as far as I understand it, he was just expressing his frustration that the NIP 2050 actually just makes provision for Transnet. And then another interview that's being really well watched is the summary of the interview about British American Tobacco's corruption scandal. And the third video is the Great Steinhoff debate between Piet Viljoen and Bernard Mostert, a colleague of we made a 10-minute, and that's really good.
Package. Justin, I know you enjoyed that debate with Pitt and Bernard.
It was an awesome debate. Obviously, you got Bernard from the entrepreneurial side, and then Pitt, a businessman himself, yet also a fund manager. They're just different merits that you got to look out for in the both. So as in building a business versus investing, they're two different concepts, and they really perfectly well. And yeah, it was nice to see Pitt and Bernard, although they had two contrasting opinions on it. It was a gentleman's debate, which is good to see.
Yeah, agreed on that side. Just on the podcast front, the Rob Hersov piece from the conference has still been very well listened to. The interview with Stephen Nathan last night, focusing around Evergrande, and then last night's BizNews Power Hour also in the top 3. But let's check in on the markets and news.
BrightRock believes that with every change in life comes opportunity, and the markets aren't any different. The daily movement in the markets mean change for us all, sometimes small, sometimes big. This daily market report is made just for you by BrightRock, the first ever needs-meshed life insurance that changes as your life changes.
South Africa's High Court struck down some changes to mining regulations that govern black ownership targets in a move that could potentially revive investor interest in the sector. In Minister Gwede Mantashe adjusted the rules to stipulate that an ownership target of 26% for Black investors in South African mining companies would remain in perpetuity. Previously met the threshold would need to find new Black shareholders if the original ones exited their holdings. The challenged clauses of the 2018 Charter are unconstitutional as the minister does not have the power to make law, according to a ruling by the Gauteng Division of the High Court in Pretoria. South Africa's Appeals Court ruled the Department of Tourism's focus on only Black businesses for payouts to overcome the coronavirus pandemic as unlawful. The Bloemfontein-based court said that the Minister of Tourism committed an error and is not legally obliged to allocate funds based on Black economic empowerment requirements. Labour Union Solidarity and Civil Rights earlier successfully applied for a freeze on the Tourism Equity Fund because it only focused on Black business. The Judge President John Hilbert to have a judge from a division other than that of Gauteng hear his application to have the decision by the JSC to impeach him set aside was rejected on Wednesday by Deputy Judge President of the Gauteng Division, Roland Sutherland. The presidency has informed the court that it has not received an application from the JSC for floor-based suspension, and the JSC has indicated that it will not submit one pending the outcome of the case.
Justin, I see in the markets very yo-yo. I know Magnus speaks about the volatility, but how are they looking today?
Lots of volatility, Stu, but the JSE All-Share Index is up at 63,500. In the currency markets, the rand was largely flat against all the major currencies to 14 rand 80 cents to the dollar, 20 rand and 15 cents to the pound, and 17 rand 35 cents to the euro. Gold is flat at $1,774 an ounce. Kruger rand will cost you around 27,500 rand. Brent crude is firmer, trading at $75.80 a barrel, and the premier cryptocurrency will put you back 620,000 rand. In the financial news, Sasol, South Africa's second biggest producer of greenhouse gases, set a target of cutting its emissions of climate-warming pollutants by 30% by 2030 and said it aims to have a net zero emissions by 2050. The target is an improvement on a previous aim of reducing emissions by 10% by 2030 and comes as South Africa and its most polluting companies come under increasing pressure to transition away from coal. Sasol produces about a fifth of South Africa's greenhouse gases today, but plans to gradually move away from using coal to produce chemicals and motor fuels, shifting to natural gas instead. Beyond 2030, it intends to use green hydrogen and sustainable carbon. Investment holding company Remgro's performance has begun recovering following a tough 2020 dominated by the COVID-19 pandemic. In its annual results for the year ended 30 June 2021, the group said its headline earnings from continuing operations saw a 66% jump to 2.8 billion rand. Remgro, which is chaired and controlled by Johan Rupert, attributed the increase to improved performance of most of its investee companies, including RCL Foods, Distal, Total Energies, and Rand Merchant Investments.
This market report was made just for you by BrightRock, the first ever needs-matched life insurance that changes as your life changes.
Well, that's it for the show today. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
You've been listening to the Power Hour, brought to you by the team at BizNews.